Hello again, everybody. Taylor Brown on the Northern Ag Network. A treat to be in Scobey talking to some of our friends at the 68th annual meeting for the Nemont Co-op. And Mike Kilgore joins us here. Mike, fun to have you on the program today. You've created some smiles here when you talked about the good year you've had this year. The past year has been a long time coming. You've had some challenging years, some belt tightening to get here. But when I looked at your annual report and the net income was up 37% and you invested $16 million in network improvements, retired debt. People here were pretty pleased with the report you gave today, and you had a lot of people to thank today.
Well, I certainly did, and first I'll start by thanking you for making the trek up here. It's always good to see you and your wife, and we've got a great story to tell. We've been telling it for 68 years. This year was an opportunity for me to provide a report to our member owners on some of the tough decisions we made 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. And the results are simply outstanding. The way in which we've paid down our debt, the way we've continued to invest over $60 million to serve our cooperative member owners and customers. So by making some very difficult and bold decisions, we've put our cooperative in a position that it was intentional, right? The results have kind of exceeded our expectation. But it wasn't by chance. It was a plan that we put in place, and we execute year over year towards that plan. And so today was just one of those points in time where you get to celebrate a little bit and recognize what you've accomplished. And again, as a member-owned co-op, we're all in this together.
There's hardly a person in this room that doesn't understand debt. They're farmers, they're business people, they know what debt can do. And the number that stuck out to me, when you said in 4 years you've reduced debt from $41 million to $18 million, and what that means to these people is you now are able to retire some capital credits. That's been a while coming.
It's been a long time coming, and a lot of people don't realize this, that, the business that we're in and deploying wireless and deploying broadband, it's a very capital-intensive business. And there's a couple ways of doing it. You're either going to take on a bunch of debt to do it, but when you're taking on that debt, you can never forget what it's going to take to service that debt. So we've had a very, very deliberate plan, and that was, we'd been building out network fiber to prem and things like that over the years, but we manage our financials, and we got to a point where we want to pay down some of that debt because of the changes that are coming in the Universal Service Fund and things like that. We want to get ourselves in a very strong financial position, and we're making progress. And as you know, up here, the cell service in northeast Montana is better than it is anywhere else in the state of Montana. I mean, if you think about the cell coverage in 14,000 square miles in northeast Montana compared to the 147,000 square miles of the state of Montana, our cell site density is 3 or 4 to 1 to that of the national competitors. That's mind-boggling.
You had some fun with that when you talked about the dubious recognition we got last year for being in the middle of nowhere, and we've talked a lot about that. But then you handed out T-shirts that said, connecting nowhere to everywhere since 1950. Boy, that created a lot of smiles.
Well, you know what? We're the only co-op in the world that can make that claim. And so when I travel a lot, I used to always tell people, they just ask, where are you from, Mike? Well, you've never heard of where I'm from. I'm from the middle of nowhere. And now all of a sudden it becomes official. I'm really officially from the middle of nowhere. And then we had a very talented guy on our marketing team, our graphic designer, come up with that design for that T-shirt, and we thought, wow, this is a home run, man. This is great. And we're the only ones that can say that, so it's cool.
Thanks, Mike, for doing this again this year. Fun to come up here. I so enjoy coming up to Northeast Montana for your annual meeting and catching up on the happenings here. You serve some great people here in the middle of nowhere.
Well, thanks again for coming up, and it's another year in the books, and we look forward to next year.
All right, Mike Kilgore with Nemont.